Say we are say oh hona say won ka no kra say ubenya asumdwe adade on dada o shompa na gu and this foot and that's the same by sorry because your Ghana and the NDC for na fe chiri ekoka kire communities for no mo man say MPP for nanado dankwa kufa do pese okutia mo inti ye de ba mumfa magudie mumfa mo fine mo machines na mo be Galamsey obi entimi nyam hute in the Republic of Ghana. We captured on video. Ene so mo ba power na san crofo no omo de mo hwe TV omo spend time on social media omo hit forest reserve ni nsuo no digia mo se mo de soldiers na 9 months ekoko san crofo na mo beti ma survive. I call the studios of Joy and Samson Lardy hosted Dennis Miracles Aboagye and some experts and a coffee bento Major General so now Major General crap de do kind ye huni say Liberia civil war minerals ya na communities for no more mine omunye sika no mo start so mo tutu na the rebel groups by in Ghana de yem boy ho se sa kwan we so pa na NDC 4 person mo de yen fa so a and a bit me the rebel groups apa Ghana yen hu civil war da a bit me e de sade na ba na Miracles Aboagye eka the submission but answer no baba kasa na Inusah Fuseini and scientists be enya and almost pipe e studio ho e dey ensem na ba expert no kasa represent EP Jubilee House meeting with the CSOs na o ka say omenya chemicals bi a ebetimi aboa eyi chemicals from nsuo na scientists no betna Joy Samson Lardy program so say enye no kure na ye kwan obi fa so e bia fa procurement no a procure niema bebre na sikedi na basa Inusah Fuseini say man in kasa asem no ba be say obi adwuma ayede ama ye nkotie ye course in the studios of Joy, Samson Lardy, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, Inusah Fuseini, and a coffee bento after Mahama's meeting with CSOs.
Rivers. It's a shame.
And this is the president believes this is ad hominem
because the president actually referred to her.
This is ad hominem.
Look,
doctor, you have no liberty to attack the person.
No. I gave a
no.
I said
this is ad hominem.
This is not ad hominem.
This is titled.
This is not argumental ad hominem. This is not argumental ad hominem. I am addressing the issue that the solution to decommission.
You are not addressing the issue.
Which unfortunately unelected people are actually using.
No, this
it betrays the country. I'm very loud about this because it is a betrayal.
It's not true.
To every Ghanaian that our experts are not speaking truth to power.
When you say unelected people are using, what are you talking about?
When I say unelected,
we put in our water, does it not change it?
No, you see,
is it because
you can say that you want to detoxicologize our water. You can say you want to decontaminate the water. You can say you want to detoxicant the waters. You can never in all of science say you want to dechemicalize the water.
Oh, I get it.
And what is annoying me most is that
I don't get you.
It's people's lives are at stake.
Okay.
Please, let me say a caveat. I'm not attacking the specialty of the president's appointee, the EPA director, and all the people.
That is what you have just done.
You did.
That you have just done.
No, I am.
That's just what you have just done.
That's
what you have just done.
The expression of the word dechemicalization is
you could do that without attacking her.
Hold on.
You could do that without attacking her.
Having made that caveat,
that's what you have done. That's what you have done.
Yes.
And you are not a specialist in that area or all areas.
Hold on. He will display his specialty.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what you have just done. And I'm surprised.
Yes, Dennis. Some are very excited and happy about the manner in which the president is approaching it. There is, if you like, he's bringing everybody on board because this is, a very useful way. to go about it. You had as many as 59 plus, civil society organizations that were invited. And he said he wanted frank and constructive dialogue and practical solutions to the problem.
Council, the NDC, I mean, there are a lot of scientists here, so pardon me if I do politics and stick to some of the social issues. The NDC are beginning to get irritated at almost everybody. They are either warning people, threatening people, calling into shows and giving caveat. I think they need to calm down. It's just 9 months. The scientist is basically expressing a scientific...
Don't defend him. Speak to this thing.
Beg your honor.
What kind of life is this?
Go ahead with your submission.
The scientist is expressing a scientific opinion. And even in science, there are a lot of disagreement and variances in views. So he's at liberty to say whatever he's saying. It is up to other opinions to test the view. So please, I'll protect him. I'll protect him here.
You are not the person to do that.
See, a few things have happened in the past few weeks. One, the NDC, and I'm glad, are gaslighting the country, which is drawing a lot of independent-minded people into the conversation. For the past few weeks, we've come to accept, all of us generally, finally, that indeed, Galamsey, as we have it today, is an age-long matter. That's how they describe it now. They've stopped describing it as 8-year-old. The president, fortunately, yesterday never used in the past 8 years. So now I think it's a lot of progress. And I applaud everybody that has been involved in the conversation in the past. There's been some agreement to that it's an age-long.
What has changed and worsened the situation is the kind of machinery. And we are told in 2023, 2024, excavator import was free for all. As much as this 6 billion worth of excavator import we saw in the country.
Today we are getting 200 excavators on daily basis into Ghana. Check at the port. 200 every day. 200 excavators a day in Ghana, I'm telling you, at the port. The last time, the port got so congested that they had to decongest it and move excavators at night. But please don't digress. When I finish there, you can ask me the questions. That is the first one. Number two, I think the past week we've also all come to agree that Galamsey, as we have it, was not going to end simply because Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Nsem-Pii out of office. That impression was created for a very long time that Akufo-Addo himself was mining behind his house in Achim, and immediately you vote him out of office. You have cabinet ministers who actually said it. You vote him out of office, Galamsey will end. Now, the other very important point we all need to agree to is that the NDC and the government as we have today are finally coming to the realization that Galamsey is worsened. The last time when the president met the media and the government communications minister was speaking, he actually had the energy to tell the entire country that if you think Galamsey has worsened, provide evidence. I was shocked. I was shocked when the government minister actually told us that we should provide evidence and proof that Galamsey has worsened. Fortunately, in the past few days, a lot of people have provided proof. And I think finally, that has culminated into the president now saying, shall we meet and have a conversation? My worry with the NDC and how they are treating Galamsey is...
It's your preliminary comment.
Oh, so
I gave each one of you 2 minutes.
So my time is up?
You've done 4 minutes.
So I'll come back?
Yes.
But I can finish?
Finish up.
Wait. My worry with the NDC and how they are handling Galamsey is that if we refuse to face the facts and the realities as we are hearing from our retired military man and the scientist and Council Bentil and Co, we'll never get a solution. Because here we are, a government admitting that they are buying about 60% of the gold we are exporting, likely, highly likely, coming from illegal sources. And the president says that, well, this money could have gone to private pockets. It is our own environment they are destroying. And so if we are going to get it, then so be it. For him, that is the first approach. And he said it on TV. Now, if this government comes back to tell us that the only solution that he has in place for us is 9 months, then I hit my head. I said, how? Samson, since 2010, when we saw Galamsey in this manner, when Professor Mills spoke to now, the number one tool, weapon we have utilized in the fight against Galamsey has been the military. That is what it has been. Nothing more, nothing less. And you had this president and this government saying so much when they were in opposition. In fact, the president is on TV having said that it is not wise to use soldier and military after Galamsey. He said it. He said it wasn't wise. And so it's a big betrayal of the country when you are eventually given power and all you do is to use the same old approach that you came to meet, and you are saying we should applaud you. But there's something going on all of us should pay attention to. Because of the deep propaganda this government is running the issue of Galamsey, they keep boxing themselves into a corner. So this is what happened after the event.
And that's why
I was happy. I was happy when the engagement was happening. Because I thought that at least for once, this government is allowing himself to accept the reality. And so we'll come up with something. Then the government communications minister comes out of the meeting and says, well, the government says there is progress because stability levels of water sources have improved. When he knows that stability level, some people don't know what stability level is. It's just the shadiness, the color of the water. It has nothing to do with quality of water. It is, this one is more brown, this one is less brown. That's what stability is. So you can actually have a very brown water that is very quality and have a very plain water that is very, very toxic.
Right.
The Water Resources Commission has been tracking the water quality index in this country since 2004.
That's what Ken told them.
With 41 water bodies. Then you have a government that is telling us that you really, really want to fight Galamsey, come to display 6 water bodies and tell us that because their turbidity levels have reduced, why didn't you display 40 water bodies and tell us their turbidity levels at least? Now, let me tell you the challenge.
So he did
the challenge with
NIMOS.
Let me tell you the challenge with NIMOS.
Thank you.
My final point.
You need to hold on.
My final point. Challenge with NIMOS is that they keep telling us that we are sending soldiers to the forest. Then I ask myself, the Ofin River, the Pra River, the Ayesu River, none of them are being destroyed from the forest. I have been to Upper Denshire East. I was on Dunkwa, on Ofin. I was on River Pra. The road is here. The river is here. Chamfans and excavators are there mining. Openly.
Thank you. Right.
It seemed to come in.
But I need to do something. I want to give it
now, most of them are not even manufactured in Ghana. So how are they coming in? We need to look at that. Number 2 is that they are not adhering to any statutory regulatory authority. And they are also alien to the payment of taxes. They don't want to hear. There's a high connivance or blessing of responsible officials, including people in the political space. And we've gathered that even some pastors in Ghana now are into illegal mining.
Yes.
And we don't have the interest to register. The other one is the negative implication on their health, their safety, and the even social environment, prostitution, gambling, alcoholism, drug intake is now coming up. And again, they are also not paying anything to government, and they are also coming up with what we discovered to be the capacity to control their space, including administrative violence, including threat of death.
Yes.
Which is very, very important for us to understand. So the typical artisanal small-scale mine that we used to know have transitioned into a political space. Now the other danger is that all these people that we are talking about, how do they sell their proceeds? Now let's come back to how they lease equipment. Some of the equipment are leased to most of the people working, and they are most owned by people who are not Ghanaians. Interestingly, we found some degree of barter trade in the field, where instead of you paying them the money, they will come for good equivalent of what you have processed as payment for whatever arrangement they had done with you prior. The other one we need to understand also is this. As the soldiers and the military personnel and the resources have been employed, there's a high incidence of people, as you stated earlier, having what we call human rights abuses and also possible leakages. Interestingly, Honorable, some of the people illegal money now are now attempting to enter into the political space.
They have entered.
Very much.
They've been funding.
Political parties. And some of them are minors.
Yes.
So the danger is that as soon as you get these people enter into the political space, then the country is almost finished. So if you send regulations that is supposed or intended to stop their activity, then there's a likelihood that either it's delayed or it will not be considered or it will be frustrated. So these things come together for us to understand that the people are the ones that we are supposed to take care of. Everything we do is supposed to kneel to their benefit, their welfare, and their development. So any little thing that we do in this space now that compromises our health, our development, and our sustenance must be clustered as such. And first, as a national security, we must note that Then the second point is that based on all the parameters you have seen, it is no more an internal national security, it's a transnational organized criminal enterprise, which Ghana has accepted.
Professor Piejetua of the University of Ghana and his students said this in 2023 on this show, repeated it in 2024, and okay.
Yes. So interestingly, it is there that the parameters and the crises are there. Yeah. Now, when you bring in the transnational organized criminal enterprise parameter, you don't need any law again, because the Financial Action Task Force regulations are there for you to imply in prosecuting the case. In that case, the punishment will be more punitive than what is prevailing of a maximum of 25 years. It goes beyond you tracing the equipment or the resource assets procured out of that criminality. The state can confiscate. The state can also rope in and bring international teams to support them to do external investigations.
Do I hear you say, if arrests are made, you shouldn't treat them as, punishing or prosecuting Galamsey?
No. But prosecuting transnational organized crime.
Okay.
In that case, the state has a wider latitude to apply both local and international regulations, supported by other international entities, even to follow the money or the procurement or deposits done outside this country. So that makes it relatively easier for us to prosecute, and the punishment will be more punitive and also may.
But so far, we have been catching the small fishes. Yeah. The president called them boys.
Yes.
Around it.
That's the reason why the law must change. The interesting thing is that when you catch the small fishes, their managers or their principals will pass through the back door. If you're supposed to be given what they call it bail, within the 48-hour caveat, they will pay the bill and they'll go back to the field. So that's how there's a high recidivism in the illegal mining environment. So if you apply the transnational organized criminal activity, then you can follow. Then resources can be applied. Then the state can have the latitude to deal with it as we stand today.
You touched on something that the Attorney General was concerned about yesterday, that they arrest them, they take them to the courts, they are quickly granted bail, they go back to repeat what they are doing whilst they are on bail. So he instructed that re-arrest them as a new offense, and then let's find a way to get our judges not to be quick to grant them bail.
The issue is this. In some parts of this country, especially in the new regions, some of them even have Attorney General's office. Secondly, except for the last review, it was only High Court that could try illegal mining cases. But now, divisional courts can do so. The other problem with illegal mining cases is that you must prove it. Proving illegal mining is very, very difficult because, one, the product the person is holding must be sent for assay. Who pays for that assay? Again, chain of custody, sometimes it is distorted. And all these things become difficult for the typical Ghanaian prosecutor to be able to do that successfully. That's why sometimes we see more of the granting of the bail.
So from what you have seen from your study, which I have read, are we at a place of a state of emergency?
Yes, I think that we should look at the issue. Number one, we are all agreed that our water bodies have almost 60% polluted. Again, some, I would say, control zones in forest has been. So for me, the state of emergency must be incremental. Beginning with the areas we deem fit right for now, must all water bodies, emergency must be declared. Then all areas that are protected, especially forest areas, emergency must be declared. Because as soon as you state blanket state of emergency without a footprint, there's a high occurrence that the people may go back. So given our resources, given the personnel strength and the facilities available to us, water bodies and protected zones must be declared.
Thank you.
So we can push from there.
Kofi, why do you think the national security is not advising the president this way?
I am not sure why, but I am worried about the kind of pronouncements we are getting out of the experts. Because I think national security should be speaking to the experts, and then the experts should be advising, and then we know where to go. So if you take Madam from EPA, for instance, we can excuse her use of the term, de-chemicalize, because there's nothing like that, especially in this context. And Ken Ashigbe also mentioned that the scientists who came to make the presentation clearly selected the irrelevant areas to make a presentation on. That's a mistake. Okay. And if Madam says that something has worked in a lab, I can say with my BA in geography that it will not work in a river. All right. So there is therefore a problem with the experts and what they are saying. And I worry also, in analysis, you can also always question motives when you come to policy making. Here we are moving in a certain direction, and clearly you can hear the connection to procurement already. And that is worrying. So as an analyst, I can tell you that, hey, I'm seeing the signs. Somebody is going to convert this problem into a procurement opportunity, and we're going to buy all kinds of things, throw them in the river, and then nothing happens. And then you see the national security people. Major has just said something which I have been saying for more than a year now, that this is the same structure that led to the collapse of Liberia and Sierra Leone. What you have here, what he said is that what you are seeing in the Galamsey areas is exactly what you see with the formation of rebel groups. It's a huge national security issue. And we've seen some of these Galamsey people overpower military people. So we really need to take it seriously. See, at the end of the day, there is also this transition that is going on, and nobody's speaking about it. I've said it before, I'm going to repeat. Today as we speak, I hear President Mahama actually mention it, that there is a Galamsey economy of about 4 million people. I said it somewhere, and then somebody said President Mahama has mentioned it.
Yes.
Now, we have also detected that...
It was either the minister who mentioned 4 million people are involved.
In the Galamsey economy.
In the small-scale mining sector.
So you let me make my point.
Yes, 4 million people in the small-scale mining sector, which contributes 52% of our gold.
But when you say that, I say, that includes illegal mining.
Right.
And illegal mining is about 85 to 90% of small-scale mining.
Thank you. You see all this English?
Yes.
Say that again.
Illegal mining components or small-scale mining entities in Ghana here is between 85 and 90%.
Then there's no small-scale mining.
Thank you. So you see, because of the shortness of time, we can't explain all these things. So I'll say, we call it the Galamsey economy. Somebody will say, no, it's small-scale mining. Major, I just told you it's 85%. We are saying this Galamsey economy supports 4 million people. It has just been confirmed here. These 4 million people, their lives depend on it. Because of that, you have a situation where the locals have stopped the fight against Galamsey. They have made peace with Galamsey. Galamsey is giving them more money than cocoa farming. It's giving them more money than their, by-day farming. Because of that, Galamsey has essentially become an elite fight. We in Accra and other urban centers are now having to bear this because we know all the things being said around here. It's killing them, but they don't care anymore because it is feeding them. Samson, it's a major problem. Why? Why? Because the people you're trying to save now will start fighting you. And this is how it also affects votes and co. For me, so many things can be spoken about, and I have all the notes here, but I say this is where the problem now is, and we should start thinking very seriously about it. I have said, and I repeat, that the government has been able to do gold, but the government promising the repeal did not do the repeal. We have seen hundreds, if
now
not thousands.
It will repeal from the 14th of October.
Has not done it
yet.
Will
be put in Parliament.
And I'm telling you, watch the action and not the talk. However, we are doing a lot of mobilization of gold. What I see is not a fight. I see an arrangement that is taking advantage of... I'm not going to talk about enabling. I'm seeing the taking of advantage of a bad situation, and we're going to pay for it. Now, in the US, they have what they call RICO laws, racketeering laws. We know that Galamsey is racketeering. We need to have RICO laws.